Yo, what's up, everybody? Evan here for grips.com, continuing with Project Get Me Stackin. So today's question comes from Carlos, and Carlos is interested in taking up poker full time, wanted my opinions on the right way to go about it. So, Carlos has developed a plan. He's going to 4-table Zoom poker, 100 no limit, at 6,000 hands per day. And according to the PokerStars VIP calculator, which you can check out at fpppro.com, he's seen that he can earn $62,000 in a year if he just breaks even, which is pretty sweet. I'm intending to start with 50 buy-ins, which I definitely think is a little low. And his question is this realistic or am I oversimplifying it? And the answer is yes, you are 100% oversimplifying it. Because the calculation, the result that the calculator gives you ignores so many factors. But the main one is the sustainability of the model. So, let's get right into it. First off, it sounds like you're focusing on the money. You're saying, okay, well, if I play poker professionally and I do it this way, I'll make 62K. Compared to the other jobs I could get, I'm making more money, I guess, so poker's a better choice. And focusing on the money is the last place you want to be looking at because the money is not your reward in the game of poker or in any of the games in life, really. The growth, the development, the knowledge that you pick up is the reward, and money is a byproduct of performing well. If your goal is to break even, you're not really aiming to develop your game, to develop your skill, and therefore you're not going to be growing as a person and you are probably going to end up unhappy even if you get the money. But let's be more specific. So I want to begin with a warning by saying things look a lot easier on paper than they are in real life, and they don't usually go as predicted. I have a couple of friends who've done Supernova Elite before, a couple times successfully, and a couple of other times unsuccessfully. I also personally have put in insane volume before when trying to compete in rake races and in rakeback competitions, where the idea is you get paid back prizes based on how much volume you put in, and it did not do any benefit for my game. In fact, my game stagnated very much, and my mood was also lower a lot of the time because I was feeling forced to put in this volume. You know, as soon as poker becomes something you have to do rather than something you get to do, you're very much at risk to lose some love for the game, and that is the last thing we want to do happen. You may be able to think of something in your life where it's been the same case, where you really love doing this thing, but when you have to do it all day, every day, suddenly you're like, man, this kind of sucks. Isn't there something else I could be doing? It's important to do those other things. So, your plan that you've come up with, how many hours a day does that require? And with all that time allocated, are you still going to have time for the other most important things in life, like friends, family, exercise, nutrition, entertainment, and of course, rest? The most neglected of all the needs, rest. Are you going to be able to get enough rest? Because if you don't, you are going to burn out, certain. Also, are you prepared to handle the swing? Let's say you're looking at about a 300K hand sample. There's going to be swings, there's going to be bad runs, and there's going to be a high demand on you. So, what's going to happen if you lose 5 buy-ins out of the gate? Are you still going to be able to play your A game? Are you still going to be able to stick with your plan? Are you going to be willing to drop limits when things are going poorly? And are you going to be willing to take shots when things are going well? These are things you really need to consider, because as you get more into it, you'll realize that it's not just going to go like this and then you get your rewards at the end, which takes you from here to here. You're going to experience some turmoil throughout this large sample, because there are going to be spells of both great and spells of bad too. And I'm not singling you out here, Carlos, because this is very common. This is a very common way to think about things in our kind of mathematical society where, okay, we write it down, we got our plan, X input times Y frequency gives us Z output, and the more times we do it, the more outputs we're going to get. But we forget the fact that the quality of our work and the quality of our decision making can go down as too much demand is placed on us and as we are under stress. And therefore, the output we get is not going to be as high as it is the first time. Just think about it if you're lifting a weight. The first rep you put in, you're going to be able to get a lot out of it, but by the 12th, 13th, 14th rep, you're losing a lot of strength. And if your grind schedule is one that doesn't allow you to recharge, it's kind of the same thing where eventually you're just not going to have it in you to make those good decisions anymore. So, in my opinion, your goal shouldn't be, I'm going to grind X and get Y dollars. Your goal as a professional shouldn't be to simply break even. Your goal should be centered around becoming better every day and growing as a player. In short, Carlos, with the sort of plan that you have, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the money and the easy reward rather than the growth and the challenge you're going to go through. So your reward of being a professional, like I said, isn't that you receive X dollars. It's that you develop as a player and a person, and as a result, you get dollars as a byproduct. But by developing your skill as a player, you enable yourself to go play bigger games, different players, different places, and get more out of it rather than being stuck and only being able to do one thing specifically. So, we've looked at whether or not first question is, are you even capable of playing 6,000 hands per day? If you haven't done this before, go ahead and try it, see how you do. Does it afford you the time to do the other things you need to keep your energy up? Can you bring your A game when you get tired? Can you bring your A game when you're running bad? Can you still put in those hands when you've had a week of tough going and you're like, well, I still got to get my 6,000 in? Make sure you allocate some time off. Make sure you are willing to play longer sessions or shorter sessions as your body and mind suggest. People really forget to account for days off, and they forget that just because you can do something for a week doesn't mean you can do it for 52 weeks in a year. If you do not take any time to recharge the batteries, to get energy in the tank, you're going to run out, for sure. It's just certain. Also, big thing, the computer time is going to take a toll on you. Sitting for that long is definitely going to drain your energy a good amount if you aren't taking the time to go to the gym. But more so, the stress of playing can take a toll on you as well. When you've put too much pressure on yourself to perform, it will get uncomfortable. Remember, poker isn't just some tedious task where you're just doing like data entry or something very simple where the task can be done over and over and over with like very little sleep and just some coffee to keep you going. Poker requires your brain to be on. It requires you to be thinking. It requires you to be critical. And it requires you to just be firing on all cylinders at all times. So you need to realize that, if your mind's not in a sharp place, you're not going to perform well and you're going to get frustrated, and it's going to lead to kind of like a downward spiral, a snowballing effect, something that you don't want. So while you may enjoy playing recreationally, as you said, when you suddenly put these demands on yourself that you have to put in X amount rather than getting to play, that may change the way you feel about the game, and I don't want you to lose love for the game. So, the way I see it, you have three options. The first is you can change your plan to be more improvement oriented, focusing on putting in the most quality hours that you can rather than just quantity. Also, if you focus on putting in quality hours, well, on top of the VIP stuff you get, you're probably going to just be winning money straight up, and you'll feel good about that. Your VIP rewards should be a bonus on top of your winnings. They shouldn't be, the source of your winnings, because your goal should be to become a winning poker player. Option two is you can practice playing high volume, for a few days or for a week and recognize where you're having issues. What part of your life is getting neglected by doing this? Or is it something that's perfectly sustainable for you? Can you keep everything else in order while you're putting in this kind of volume? Recognize if you're having issues mentally, physically, emotionally, because all of these will affect your play. And once you've identified that, then build yourself or prepare yourself with a routine that allows you to handle this and strengthens you and enables you in these areas. Once you have a good feel for what that routine needs, then make a commitment to do, say, a 3-month trial, maybe a 6-month trial. Like, there's no need to be like, all right, I'm going to play professional poker, I'm going to make a year plan. No, just fucking try it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, see if you like it. If you hate it, then why would you dedicate a full year of your life to it? You know? And if you love it, then keep at it. But don't put such an unrealistic commitment on it out of the gate before you've even dipped your toe in the pool. Because it's just going to deter you. All right? And option 3 is, of course, dive in head first, hope to run good right out of the gate, and grind till you fall. And personally, I would not recommend it. As you know, I'm all about giving a healthy and sustainable approach to playing poker, which involves a holistic approach to life. Your poker, your play, your career is just one element of yourself, one dimension of your life, and you got to make sure that you account for all the other things as well. So, in my opinion, your goal should be to find a limit that you do well at and develop as a player. Simple. Your goal should be to find mistakes that you're making, leaks that you're making, and eliminate them and get rewarded for doing so. Volume will get you rewards, but it can hamper your development because you're just kind of like you might be going into autopilot. Okay, I just need to get through these 3,000 hands. I just need to get through these 3,000 hands. Or I'm just going to protect, I already have a little win, so I'm just going to protect that cushion. I think you're going to be taking yourself out of the frame of mind you really want to be in when playing poker. So yeah, goals are great, but I try to stay away from monetary goals or goals that may not be realistic, and given that you haven't tried playing yet and you want to go for a full year, that may be a little unrealistic. So see how you feel after a week or a month and reevaluate if this is the way you want to approach the game. The last thing you want to do is lose your love for the game. You want to maintain it. Also, if you run out of energy reserves, if you get really beat down and really tired, I can speak from personal experience from both playing and from this entire Grips Poker Training project, all the stuff I've been doing, you can get so drained that you just lose your love for life a little bit, and that's no good. That's when you got to take the vacation, you got to take the few days off to recharge and get back that energy, get back that life. So all I want to say to you, Carlos, is don't be too strict. Don't be too hard on yourselves when things don't play out the way that you wrote them down on paper. So many factors are getting ignored in that calculation, and the only way you're going to find out about those factors and feel those factors is to hop in, try it firsthand in real life, and see what happens. So, I hope that that advice is helpful, gives you some perspective. Account for all the other little details. Don't just say, if I do X, Y times, I'm going to get Z. And if I increase Y, then Z's automatically going to go up, because there's a limit to performance. Okay? So that's going to wrap up this episode of Project Get Me Stackin'. I hope that this info helps to serve you in becoming the best poker player you can be. If you have any questions for Project Get Me Stackin', please send them to questions@grips.com. Hopefully I can answer your question and help you get stacking. This has been Evan for grips.com, saying peace, patience, and progress. And until next time, happy stacking.